Hey, it's Risa G coming in from her cluttered kitchen. Long time no see. I am coming in today for a quick, easy, low carb slash whatever you want to call it, ketovore, whatever, side dish to go with all of your grilled meats, all your grilled stuff during the summer, it's a great meal prep. It's fairly cheap and it's very low in carbs, because really the main carbs in it are hearts of palm and cream cheese, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, also I am adding in, I am not sponsored by, but wouldn't mind being sponsored by Keto Chow, because this is what makes it taste like potatoes. Otherwise it tastes good, but you need other flavors in there, garlic or something, to really give it more flavor. So I got this originally from a blog online. I will share that link down in my notes. The original recipe called for 2 cans of hearts of palm boiled, but I only have 1 can right now. I use a brand from ShopRite called Bowl and Basket. It's a generic, but you can use any brand that you can find. And I use Bowl and Basket cream cheese, but of course you can use Philadelphia cream cheese, any department, any supermarket brand that you like. This is the one I like. And it has, 2 grams of carb in an ounce, which is 2 tablespoons. And for this recipe today, I'm doing 1 tablespoon because I only have 1 can of this. All right, so the ingredients, you boil the water. You obviously have to boil water and boil the hearts of palm. They say for 20 minutes. I find 5 or 10 minutes is just fine because they're already pre-cooked and canned, so they're already soft. So I do it for less. You drain and rinse your hearts of palm, and then you boil it, and then you put everything else in a high-powered blender. Or I also find that the food processor does a really fine job if you pulse it. But mine, unfortunately, at the moment is broken. I need to buy a new top part to it to lock it and to do everything. But that part fell on the ground a couple weeks ago and it broke. So I still have to replace that. So I'm using my Vitamix, but you can use any high-powered blender you have, a Ninja, anything, with the tamper. Okay, and so it's got cream cheese. Now the original recipe called for ghee or butter. I use salted butter or unsalted, whichever I've got. And I already have some softened. It says to melt it, but I've done it with just softened butter, and it's just fine. And then it calls for garlic oil. I have just regular. I have home infused garlic oil, so I'm using that. But you can also just use some garlic powder or any kind of garlic flavoring you've got. And then it says unsweetened almond milk. We don't consume almond milk in this house because one person is somewhat allergic to nuts. And so we're using just regular milk today, but I've used lactose-free milk, I've used A2, I've used Fairlife, I've used all kinds of milks for this. And then salt, pepper, and stevia. And so all of that is going to go in here. I add the liquids first, so the milk into the blender with the oil. So I will be measuring, but normally I just do it by eye. It's a couple of tablespoons. I'm just going to do a tablespoon of little, just for liquid. The stevia. Now, really, I don't think it needs stevia, but sometimes it helps with that off taste, to cut the off taste of the hearts of palm. So I use that. Then the cream cheese. The butter. And okay, hearts of palm. So that's what it looks. Well, this one happens to be sliced, but you can also use the sticks, the whole, what they call the whole, and these are already see, very soft, so add that. Okay, and then I just add in a couple of pinches of pepper, a couple of pinches of salt. Okay, do I have everything? Yes, I add the keto chow at the end. Okay, starting on I think that it needs a little extra liquid, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of water, and I'm just getting a little bit. Now, one good thing about keto chow is that it already has thickener in it. They use acacia fiber, and so I usually remove it from the blender, okay, and usually remove it from the blender and then add the keto chow, because this way I can see what I'm adding, and I can take a spatula and blend it and like fold it in. I fold it in, so try to get as much of it as you can out of here. Now see, obviously a single pan doesn't mix. I would say enough for 2 people. So I'm going to, sometimes I have to rinse it off. Alright, sometimes I have to rinse it off in between. It gets all over the spatula. Okay, now what I do is I take a teaspoon, and sprinkle it around, and then I fold it in so that way if it's too thin, coming out of the blender because I added water or extra milk or whatever and it's too thin, the keto chow actually helps to thicken it. So I take a teaspoon or 2, sometimes more, what I feel makes the right consistency. Because with keto chow you're supposed to add to make a shake, you're supposed to have a couple of tablespoons at least of fat of some type. So I usually just go with heavy cream when I'm making a shake, but this already has cream cheese in it, so it already has dairy, it already has oil, and it already has a little bit of liquid, and that's what you're supposed to put in your, to make a whole packet. So you don't need to add anything extra, you just have to fold it in. And the acacia, you let it sit for a few minutes, and the acacia fiber takes care of any liquid. And then if you want, you can add a little bit of butter. Obviously, if it was warm, you could put a dollop of butter in. But since this is not warm anymore, I'm just gonna take a little tasty and see if it needs any extra salt, any extra pepper, any extra seasoning, even if it needs a little more potato flavor, Oh, it's got the texture. If you're looking for something to, make that same feeling in your mouth as real mashed potatoes do, I think that this is way superior to riced cauliflower made into mashed potato type substitute.
Something smells like potatoes, I'll tell you
that. It does,
that.
right? It's the keto chow. It smells like potato. It does. Well,
that's strange.
Isn't it? I think it could use a little extra flavoring, so I'm just going to add a little extra. It does. And unfortunately, the flavor has sold out, so Steve from Serious Keto created the flavor for them, and Chris, who owns the company, had sworn off. He had sworn for years, he said he was swearing off making savory flavors, until Steve came to him with this, and he tasted it, and he's like, we're making baked potatoes keto chow. It tastes just like. So for people who really miss it on low carb and keto diets, this is the bomb. Tastes like potatoes. And because you blended it in a high powered blender, it has the texture too. Oh my God. It's just, I've been making this for weeks now. It's just delicious. Well, anyway, there you go. We got faux mashed potatoes, or what I call mashed potatoes. Other people just call it hearts of palm mashed potato. But whatever you call it, it's delicious. Of course, you can season it any way you want. You can make it Italian seasoned. You can add more garlic or roasted garlic to make it like roasted garlic mashed potatoes. And it goes with any meat really well. I've been serving it to myself for weeks now when I serve everybody else something else. And I feel like I'm eating the real thing. Anyway, so if you're interested in making it, go into the notes. I gave you the link to the original recipe. I forget what the blog is called, but it's in my notes for anybody who's interested in clicking in there and seeing what it is, and try it. And if you try it, let me know in the comments. If you do, you can obviously you can do it without this. The blogger did do it without keto chow. But if you do have, for some reason, a packet of keto chow baked potato, go for it. A couple of tablespoons does the job. Okay, so that's Reese's Claire, the kitchen for the day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, share, like. It all helps my channel to get monetized, and it also gets the idea out into the world for people to see. And it probably would help that blogger too. So anyway, have a great day, everybody. Bye.